What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and today reactions to the classics. We are up to the year 2017 with our top 10 albums by year draft. Been a fun journey that we started with the music year 1965, gone year by year up to the present day, and we are fast approaching the present day.
We are. We definitely are, man. We're almost there. So if you haven't joined us before, we're going to need your help. We're going to need to know who you think won this thing. You can give us your top 5, top 10 if you want to. If you're a patron, then pay attention because one of these albums is going to be nominated for our album listening party we do once a month on YouTube. If you're not a patron, we would appreciate your support. We put up videos every single day. It takes a lot of man hours. Check out the Patreon link below. The Patreon link on the end screen. The way it works is we alternate every year who gets first pick. This year, Trey, you got first pick. I got 2 and 3. This is going to be a weird year. I can already tell you because I've seen the list, and it's like a switched year. It's a mutant year because I have 3 of your favorite artists of all time in my top list, but the album you chose would have been my second pick. So what do you got as your first pick?
I am starting off with the record. I fell in love whenever this album came out.
It's great,
and,
man.
It's really one of the great albums of the decade. It's going to be Lorde's Melodrama, her second release after Pure Heroin in 2013. Went to #1. She noted it was initially inspired by her disillusionment with fame, and she wrote it to capture the heartbreak and solitude after her first breakup. A lot of kind of electronic and pop elements in this one that make for really catchy melodies, while also keeping a bit of that melancholy, heartbreak tone throughout here as well. That's really well seen on the track Liability, which is one of my favorites. I like Homemade Dynamite and Perfect Places as well. So, man, big fan of Lorde. Her follow-up, Solar Power, last year wasn't nearly as good in my opinion, but hey, she made Melodrama. She gets a pass for the rest of her career in my mind.
Thank you for skewing that one for me when I get to it. Yeah, I thought that album was great. She did talk about how she kind of went into seclusion after the fame, and that was part of the reason why that came out too, All right, my #1 pick, which I was shocked you didn't take #1, but I could see the worth in too. Kendrick Lamar, Damn, 4th studio album, became the first non-jazz or classical work to earn a Pulitzer Prize for music, won Best Rap Album at the 2018 Grammys, as well as receiving nominations for Album of the Year. But if you're familiar with the Grammys, those hip-hop albums never win those, even when they should. Debuted at #1, it's 175 on Rolling Stone's 500 Best Albums of All Time. Metacritic 95. What's crazy to me is this is his 3rd best album. With all that acclaim, this is his 3rd best album. Highlights XXX featuring U2, that we do have a song reaction for that. DNA, Humble, but 14 songs, 55 minutes. Look, you got to listen to the whole thing, right? It's like everything else of Kendrick. It's a work of art, right? So it's hard to pick out songs and go, oh man, this is a banger, because it fits into an overall narrative. But those 3, but you're going to know way more about this than I do because Kendrick's your guy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, man. Another tremendous release. It sees him releasing some more commercial type tunes as well. Like Humble is his most streamed song. And yet he still is able to kind of keep some of that artistic concept record that he had on his previous 2 releases as well. Duckworth, the closer, really kind of brings the album full circle. It
does.
And it's unique because when they released the deluxe edition of this record, they flipped the track order to where like the last song started first, and that kind of gave a different narrative as you kind of go through.
Okay.
So it's like, Kendrick always thinking like 10 steps ahead on
that's
this
for sure.
thing. So you can't go wrong with that.
Would this have been your #2?
Yes,
Okay, well now I'm going to steal one of your favorite bands of all time. It's there, man. I see why you like these guys so much. We got brand new Science Fiction, their 5th and final studio album. First album in 8 years since Daisy. Their only #1 album.
Yeah.
#1 on the Billboard 200. Same Logic, /Teeth, and Lit Me Up are the highlights. But I think this whole album is really good. All of their albums got a 4.0 or better for me on Rate Your Music out of 5. But Trey, you actually saw their last concert ever, which was supporting this album.
No, definitely. And that was, at the time, didn't know it was their last. Jesse Lacey had some allegations against him that ended the band. And so I was really thankful I didn't skip out on that show for sure. Not that I would have missed it. But you can make an argument this is their best record, even though I'm always going to place The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me at the top. Musically, it just shows the band continuing to make those, leaps and strides. And I think if all the stuff at the end hadn't gone down, I think it would have placed quite high on a lot of publications.
I think it would have too. It is different than Daisy. Like they really did change themselves musically, but it worked. It's very rare for a band to be gone for 8 years and make a change up And it works great.
And in the lead up, it was always like, oh, what is Brand New doing next? So you kind of look for the signs for any. Oh, they released a new T-shirt. That means music's coming.
Yeah, you're hoping for it and probably thinking it's never going to come.
But no, I love that pick, man. And my next two picks,
never even heard of
going
this one.
to hip hop realm. Gonna go with Big K.R.I.T. Forever Is a Mighty Long Time. His third record went to 7 on the charts. Actually, just Southern hip hop. I don't know if I'd call it a classic yet, since it's only been 5 years, but I can definitely see it being like that. With a lot of nods to Outkast and UGK, bouncy beats coupled by some very impressive rapping by Big K.R.I.T. here. It's a double LP, about 80 some odd minutes right here, but it doesn't seem like that, whereas you get a lot of releases today in the streaming world where you try to pack as many songs as you can, get those streams up, and you get a bloated release. This is not the case for this album right here. Themes range from materialism and religion to fame and substances. Get Away. Check that song out if you like that. Maybe give the rest of the record a spin. Drinking Sessions and Bury Me in Gold are highlights. And then for my next pick, going Jay-Z's 444 album, his 13th record. Went to number 1, which was his 14th album to reach number 1. Wow. A record at the time. Great throwback sampled production here by No ID, who is just a really impressive and one of the great hip hop producers of the past, however long you want to say. This was released exclusively on Tidal for a brief time. Of course, Jay-Z, part owner of Tidal, so hey, it's like, hey, let's do that here. I picked Beyonce's Lemonade in our 2016 draft, and here Jay-Z kind of touches on some similar type themes, from his infidelity and how he almost fumbled Beyonce and his child and how that affected him, and he also just touches on hip hop culture, his life, relationships, his mother, and how she was gay, but at the time, living in Marcy in New York, like that wasn't going to come out. Yeah. And, so they have a track Smile on there that addresses that really well. The story of OJ is great, the title track, and it's only 36 minutes long, 10 songs. So I like that Jay kept this one concise, really concise. Elevated the quality probably all in all on that.
All right, number 3, I got The War on Drugs, A Deeper Understanding, 4th studio album, won the Grammy for Best Rock Album. Look, it's 66 minutes, all War on Drugs stuff so far that I've listened to. It's going to have the same vibe. It's atmospheric. It's ambient. It's got a little bit of electronic in there, but it's just it's just a vibe, man. You either like it or you don't. And if you like it, you're going to pretty much like all their songs. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you're not going to like any of them. There's not a lot of variation. Adam Grant is so firing on all cylinders on this. He's the lead singer. He is the writer. Highlights are Thinking of a Place, Holding On, and Pain. But once again, it's kind of hard to pick highlights out because a lot of it's the same, not in a bad way.
No, I would have had them on my honorable mention for sure right here. And I just think the way they're able to fuse kind of the electronic with like the Heartland rock,
a little bit of 80s stuff in there too.
They're a really strong band that don't really have a bad release. So no,
they don't. Next up for me, someone who's appeared on a lot of my lists. People are very hot and cold on her. Critics are very hot and cold on her. I like her. Lana Del Rey, Lust for Life.
You're Lana Stan out here. This is his third record. Let's go.
Hey, man. Number 1 in U.S. features recurring trap rhythms. So a little bit different. Classic rock references, orchestral backings, and her singing with somewhat, they called it a hip-hop affection. I kind of see that sort of in there. Highlights are Love in the title track, which features, of course, The Weeknd, because he's about this time he's popping up on everything over the last 7-8 years, man. So he just pops in on that, but it works.
And I'm keeping in the female lane right here, going Phoebe Bridgers with her debut "Stranger in the Alps," which I actually like more than her 2020 record Punisher. I know
we're in the minority.
Most people don't see it that way, but we have a full album review of this up. It's a very gentle indie rock folk album. This showcases Phoebe's ear for melody and the pretty voice that she has. Also, such a strong writer and a lyricist, and highlights being Motion Sickness, Funeral, Scott Street, and then the heartbreaking cover of the great Mark Kozelek's "You Missed My Heart." That might be my favorite track actually on this whole thing.
Yeah, and you said we reviewed this several years ago now. I loved it when we reviewed it. I spun it a ton of times. I listened to it again. I still like it, but I didn't quite love it as much. And I guess it just shows kind of where you are in life. Where you are mentally, where you are. Still a really good album.
And my final pick right here. Tyler, the Creator, Flower Boy, his fourth record. As with all of Tyler's work, he produced this entirely himself too. So I always give extra points when a rapper not only is rapping, but also doing all the beats
tough on rap too.
Production, right? So it blends here some hip hop, jazz, soul. If you don't know, Tyler kind of started out in this group Odd Future back in like 2009, 2010. Got around as being kind of shock rappers, incredibly vulgar and just controversial, so to speak. And then as time has gone on, though, it's been interesting to chart Tyler's career, how he's been able to kind of transition to that and to step into being a true artist of his time. This debuted at number 2. Tyler even said he went for a more personal approach on here, stating that his previous record, Cherry Bomb, which is also solid, I purposely was like, I don't want to get personal at all. Like, I'm just going to make songs. And in this one, I was like, all right, let me write everything down I'm feeling. He decided to keep the raps short so the instrumentation could breathe a little bit. So my favorites are 9/11/Mr. Lonely, Where This Flower Blooms, and November. And Your Childhood Best Friend, Shane Powers, makes an appearance on that record as well in an interlude. So
are you serious?
Yeah, and he's on Cherry Bomb as well, Tyler's previous record. So you need to hit him up, see if we can somehow get Tyler's contact info.
Shane showing up. All right, now I got to listen to that. All right, my last pick. I said I had 3 of your favorites on here. Here's Julien Baker, Turn Out the Lights, second studio album. She began writing it while on tour for her debut album, Sprained Ankle. Overall recording period for the album was said to be 6 days, each lasting 12 hours, which in her previous album, she didn't even go to a studio to do it. As with Sprained Ankle, she self-produced it. Highlights are Over, the title track, and Shadowboxing. Also a very, very intense record, right? You're not gonna put this on the stereo and chill out for the night, but very well done.
No, definitely. And though nothing's gonna top Sprained Ankle for me, Turn Out the Lights, a really strong
it's close, effort, man. It's close.
I think from Julien, and kind of expands the arrangements and sound on this record compared to her debut. But I saw her tour this record, and man, she knocks it out of the park live as well. Which I guess now will take us out to our honorable mentions.
And you had a ton on our lists were very similar this year.
I'm going always with Anti-Socialites, man. They have a lot of buzz for a record that came out this year in 2022. I'm looking forward to that. Some great little indie pop. Brockhampton's Saturation 2, the San Marcos, Texas-based hip-hop group who just called it quits this past week, actually.
Oh, wow.
Kalila, Take Me Apart, some lovely alternative R&B. Lingua Ignotas, All Bitches Die. We have Mount Erie's A Crow Looked at Me, one of the, speaking of heavy listens, you might not get a heavier listen than this one.
This one almost made my list. I've got a top 10 up of Phil Elverum that one of our patrons, Osmond, did. This album is so heavy. His wife had just died of stage 4 cancer, 35 pancreatic cancer. They had a small child, and throughout the album, he'll say, "It's been 5 days since you died. It's been 11 days since you died." It's
one of those where it's like I don't even really give it a rating because it's almost therapeutic for him.
And a lot of people did, and a lot of critics are like, "I don't know how to rate this," but it's you're going to listen to it once, and I don't know if you're ever going to want to listen to it again, but it's awesome. You should go listen to it.
The National with another great album, Sleep Well Beast, Sampha, Process, St. Vincent, Mass Seduction,
have a review of that.
Father John Misty's Pure Comedy, Alex G, Rocket, have reviews to both of those up, and then SZA's Control, also Fleetbox's third record, Crack Up, pretty solid as well. But I know
that was my list. You didn't even have that on your list.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Nobody trying to take credit. All right, Japanese Breakfast, Soft Sounds from Another Planet. Taylor Swift, Reputation. This album's got a 2.9 on Rate Your Music, but it should be in there. Alex Cameron, Force Witness. This is a fantastic album. Do yourself a favor and go listen to it. Slow Dive, self-titled.
Record.
Paris, All We Know of Heaven, All We Need of Hell. Really good listen. Perfume, Genius. It's one guy, no shape. And then Amy Mann sneaking in here with Mental Illness. Also, as you can imagine, another deep listen. I don't know what it was about this year, but deep listens.
No, man. And of course, we want to hear from you which of these lists you have on top. And of course, let us know your favorite records from 2017 as we are rounding out the decade. And rounding out the series, We're almost there. Got about a month or so left of it, so be sure to hit that big red subscribe button, and you can go back in our playlist as well and check out all the or any of the years that strike your fancy, so to speak. But that'll wrap it up from us today. And until next time, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see you.